record this as well. Um, so in saying that, I feel like I want to push boundaries as to not just think that it's a channel of information, but what are the actual every time I connect into them and I'm seeing you and me sitting here, I just get these multiple images and it's almost a little overwhelming because they're showing me different realities that could literally unfold depending on the questions we ask. And it's just about asking, those leading edge questions outside of the box, thinking and not holding back on any thought, concept, feeling, essentially follow the nudges.
Okay,
Mm.
sounds good. Yeah.
And I don't want to overwhelm you.
Well, I'll do my best. I'm
As
sure
will I.
the questions will flow as hopefully as it gets going. I feel as if the first time I met the Guardians of Light, I was really quite pleased with how I managed to question and dig in a wee bit and not just sort of keep it surface level. So it was quite exciting for me to kind of get to that stage where I was talking to something so mystical and
And
far
that's
away.
that's that's exactly when I've listened back to the recording and the way you're very thoughtful and in seeking the information. And I think that's a really key aspect because I think it's a very respectful way to approach them.
Yeah.
Even though I'm feeling them constantly there, it's sort of I'm not sure of like are there even boundaries? I don't know if that's even a thing with them.
Uh,
I don't really know anything. I haven't really explored a lot, except I know that when I'm feeling really low, they really do nudge in and they start talking through me. And it like the frequency that they're sitting in, it brings everything back into harmony. And even the images and what's been unlocking since the meetup, and it's coming through a lot in dreams, not just in like day to day, but seeing how these lost aspects of self are weaving back in, or the murkiness is clearing out. They were showing me, like I've been working with Illustrator a lot lately, so vectors are in my brain a lot at the moment, but they were showing me in a dream a soul signature, and I see everything in geometry anyway, but they were showing me a soul signature and then turning it into a vector drawing and then refining it, and they were showing me how to refine it and talking about creation and how that creativity is so key and pivotal in creating the new codes for the new grids in the new earth and that elevation of what's coming forth. It's almost like as a human race we're still not um holding the geometry. I don't really know how else to say it that is needed for those next steps that really need to come online. So I think that essentially is what is the key, what the key point is as we step here into this. It's not about just us. We strengthen the foundation of who we are as a conduit, and then that is reflected through the collective, the planetary, the galactic grids, essentially.
okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So, will you just be able to go into trance here, do you think, and just bring them through, or what's the plan to sort of
No plan. um, I did with a client. I just went, yeah, no worries. I'll see if I can channel with them. And they came in, but I think because I was connected into someone else's energy, the shift in the energy frequency was like my heart was like beating and racing so hard. And then I really felt like when they left, I felt like I went boom back into the body, and I'm like,
right?
there must be a transition here that I need to make sure I'm adjusting in and out of if I'm not already in a regression. Because obviously, if you're in a regression, then you're organically like in a high vibration, aren't you?
Yes. Uh,
So I don't think I need to be. regressed or anything like that is what I'm saying. But yeah,
Right.
okay. So have you got an idea of where you want to take this? Because you're pretty much in charge once we connect in. I mean, I think I'm still conscious anyway, but yeah, I don't want to get in the way either.
Yeah, I haven't prepared a list of questions or anything like that for them, but I suppose I would just kind of bounce off of what they sort of present
Mm.
to start with. But I would maybe ask a few questions of myself, like actually get maybe ask about my weaving or something like that, and actually just see if they had an angle on that or in.
I actually think that is a brilliant idea because I think it is that which is also very key because essentially what I'm doing and what they're showing me, what I was telling you about turning everything into vector and then bringing in to refine the grids, that's essentially weaving, which is
Yes,
what you're doing. And maybe that is the conduit point of what we're both connecting into. So you better understanding your ability and understanding um, whatever you need to understand will
yeah.
bring greater coherence to the foundation that we're going to build on.
I actually, Relucas shared me a YouTube recording of someone channeling just last week, and she speaks about for a minute and a half of weavers now being awakened in great numbers at this
Mm.
point. So she said, "This is very relevant to you." So it was like an hour and a half, but it was only like a minute or something like that of talking about weavers are now kind of coming online. And she spoke about the different types. So people working with the fates, so that people that can weave fates, or there'd be a different type of weaver that could weave sort of grid work, do grid work, planetary work. Uh, so I would maybe ask along the lines of, can I do both? Can I do one or the other, or just what this? But I think you gave me the hint before that I could probably do both because you said that it wouldn't just be working with individuals; it'd be working with much greater numbers. Or
And that's exactly what I'm seeing and getting body confirmation of. But in saying that, it still is important to ask the questions to help it make sense in your head.
yes,
Because it's one thing to know it, and then it's another thing to know it and
that's
feel
exactly. Yeah,
it.
I feel as if I've only scratched the surface at the moment with because I actually know nothing about grid work. I really don't know where you would start with it.
What I would be inclined to do with not just asking questions, but actually asking for the the codes and the information pathways to be created if you're willing to receive them. Obviously, I'm not forcing you into
Yeah,
anything, but
definitely.
just incrementally, what am I ready to receive today to help me move into that next step? And so, okay, so I'm understanding that. Have I got everything in my mind, body, soul? Is that in place for me to be doing that? You know, asking those sort of questions of, okay, so I can see that I'm being told I need to do this, but it's what we call remembrance, where the soul remembers. Let me take off this watch while we're doing this. Where the soul remembers the self, the light within, and that's where we want to bring you. So it's like the heartbeat. It's a knowing that is so deep within, and that's what you want to be activating, that remembrance within you. So you like see that light and you see those threads and you're bringing them down and you're going, yeah, I could bring this, and you just get thoughts and ideas of what you could be doing and how you could be doing it on a more prolific basis.
Yes, it'd be good to get more guidance along that. So if we get the opportunity today, I'll ask it along those lines.
And
Uh,
I'd just like to say I'd like to do these ongoing if that works for you, because I think there's a lot to explore.
yes, definitely. It's actually a dream come true because it's having loved so much of Dolores's work, working with individuals and going back to the same individual. I've always thought it'd be amazing to get into that scenario where you were tapping into someone who was constantly able to bring information through from the other side, from whatever source. So I love this, Susan. It's
That's awesome because I feel exactly the same way in the other side of it, where I've got someone who's actually interested, who really wants to understand and know and work with it. So for me, rather than just, it's not just a fanciful thing. I actually, it's something that is soul level deep that I know I need to uncover, which is why I've pushed so hard over the last 10 years on this journey to actually be here as well. So yeah.
definitely. Let's keep it going and take it as far as we can.
All right. Let's see how we can have you got water with you?
I've not had a drink before I came through, but I'll go and grab it. Right, got it to hand now. Perfect.
It's a strange feeling for me because I can feel they're there, but I'm also quite conscious. So just being aware that I don't want to disrupt the information. I sort of want to sit third person to it, but I am aware of that, and I can probably jump in and have a conversation as
Uh-huh.
well. So perhaps specifying if you need to speak to me versus them. I don't know whether it's all one and
Well,
the
yeah, I
same even.
suppose.
I just
Well,
don't know. That's
well,
what we got to explore.
yeah, we can work out the routine as we go and understand what needs to be done.
Okay. I get that. Yeah, welcome. We are here.
Thank you, Guardians. Thanks for coming today. It's a privilege to be here again.
I get that day. I think they're just saying it's nice to be here.
We're looking to explore further the information that you shared with us when I was working with Susan and Aaron, and I I was felt so privileged to be there and speaking to the Guardians of the Light and receiving such information. And Susan and I would like to take this much further to receive information to help Susan, information to help myself, and information to help the planet and the people on the planet as we move through the next few years towards the shift and ascension, and anything that can be done to help individuals or the planet as a whole would we would gratefully receive that information. So
This has been written. This is Akatigotor. This is destiny, you call it. Akatutukaaya. At the right time when your frequencies would come together. Akotutua. It could start unlocking something more. We are very pleased that we can now express freely and a katia be received.
thank you. It feels like I've got a universe of questions at my fingertips, but I don't know where to start.
Agetikatu at the most foremost.
The most foremost. Okay. So, if you don't mind, I'll start with myself and see where that leads. I have been learning to weave with energy. It's something over that I've been learning in the past few months, but recently, having spoken to you and Aaron and understood what you were telling us about how you're almost listening to prayers and people's wishes at the other side and then fulfilling those wishes and sending them back. So recently I wondered whether when I'm weaving and I'm trying to create good aspirations for people and bring good things into their life, should I be sending them to you when I'm creating those weaves and those good thoughts and good wishes for people? I thought about sending them to the Guardians of the Light for use to fulfill and send back to myself and the people here on Earth that I'm working for and working with.
So you not so much koto send to us. You open the conduit. So we can work with you as you as you are weaving. And
Okay.
this is going to open up thoughts and ideas and the koto, and we can support to lift the vibration as you're working. Oh, chukati, you're very pure of heart, and we can very easily guide through that pure intention.
Okay, thank you. So when I'm holding the good thoughts for the people that I'm working for, and I'm sending them out into the field and into the universe, do I just open up my heart and think about and releasing them for them to be fulfilled?
Yeah, that is correct. Like at takatoto, like posting mail, we can assist our chutikatita simply by inviting us in. So we are aware of your vibration, and we can that momentum is what they're saying. Momentum, create momentum for what's being sent out.
Yes. So part of this journey that I'm on, I'm very early on the journey, and I'm learning to do this. So any advice or any help or codes or that I could possibly be given to move me along this path, I feel as if I'm just taking baby steps for the past few months. So any advice that can be given would be gratefully received.
Yeah, I could, uh, the words are getting stuck. They're showing me, it's like your third eye, but it's like they're showing me perception processing. And you're pulling in, yeah, it's just like they're showing me the tip of the iceberg. They're just pinpricks of, okay. Oh, they're saying we need to broaden the bandwidth of the energy frequency. It's like instead of it seeing like this, it needs to open like this
Okay.
or like this eventually, but bit by bit, so we don't there's a big headache if it's going to be too much too soon.
Okay. So is there something in particular that I should be doing next as part of a process to open up fully and create a wider bandwidth?
Now I get to no is what I hear.
Okay.
Or again, yeah, joining na. It's I got to they show me maps of genetic lines. I get to many different genetic lines, and they got to and it's like I don't know why my eye is really paining me. I got to they're showing me it's kind of like it's like from each of these genetic lines, past and present, so what you're experiencing now physically and what you've experienced in different aspects of different experiences energetically. And they're showing me if you're the cauldron, we need to open up the rivers of information in all these other genetic lines so it can flow into the cauldron. And this can then activate through the core energy and frequency of who you are. There to get that. That's right. Thank you.
Is there a particular method I should be using to open up these pathways?
I get the good data. No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, te get there. Oh, you just ask and we do it for you.
Ah, okay.
Oh, take it to I got it's like playing for us. Yeah, we just have fun and we can see and we can understand and you know that it's not hard work. It's just to get that intention and then through this channel we can access and bring in stir the pot.
Okay.
And then being. So that is your that would be your job when all pathways are open to allow which the movement you do, the being in stillness you do is perfect.
Okay. So would you be able to open those pathways up when Susan and I are meeting like this, or would it be done maybe when I'm in meditation each morning? Should I ask you at that point?
Now you get to do just close your eyes and just breathe. And get to do again, we can do it now.
Thank you.
The image I've got in my head, it's like from each of these genetic lines, they've opened a gate and a fire horse, literally, is running through the gate, down through all the genetic stops, if you will. And it's like purifying at each stop, coming back in as it's weaving back into the grids and the energy of here and now. And it's feels like in my chest as this energy is processing, it feels um like like I'm stuck in a smoky room almost.
Okay. The work that you're doing now for me, is that something that's going to take time to process, or could it be almost a immediate activation for me?
Yeah, energy is instantaneous. So breaking down your own mental beliefs and core structures. That may take a little longer, but to believe in limitless. Truly, ang new deep within the that programming of the human field or that can be a little stickier. To let go of and rebalance and harmonize. So the short answer is it's accessible. But your belief that may be limiting the potentials of understanding.
Okay.
Working in this form, we are very excited because this is organically as Susan receives, John receives, as John receives, Susan receives. This is raising the bar for the vibration of the potentials of who you both are. And it's supporting, it's an ongoing balance of masculine and feminine representing the human. The Kenya, no. Too many words. The human field of where like masculine, feminine, yin, yang, left, right, these concepts of opposing forces essentially to get that out to keep balance and harmony. So at the end, and then another understanding of to the importance of this conduit that is being received.
Okay, thank you. I will work on my belief systems, but I'm very becoming very open because I'm talking to galactic beings of light at the moment. So I'm very I I am very open now to understanding what can be done, and I need to apply that to myself.
Yeah, the kato. Ayan na. They show me again perception. After doing nya kato. Nya. It's they show me like barn doors, and it's like you know this sense of
Yes,
trying to pull them open, but then yeah, then they are just
just
literally your mind is the powerhouse behind everything. Yeah, just one finger, and they can be massive, like gigantic, and yeah, poof, open. Just yeah, nothing is difficult. When you sit in the light with the right frequency, and you're supported with the correct help. Then impossible is not a word.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. When we started this conversation, Susan mentioned that she had a pain in her eye. And that's relevant because since we came back from Aaron, I've had something going on with my left eyelid, and it's not been sore and it's not caused me trouble, but it's been half closed almost for, it's just now kind of coming back to normality. But it's happened from Aaron. And I just wondered if there was something that I wasn't seeing, if it was almost like a sign. It was my left eye. So I was wondering if it was like my higher self telling me there's something you're missing here, John. You're not seeing something in your past, perhaps, because it was my left eye. And then Susan picked up, she mentioned a pain. Is there anything that's to be understood from that?
Yeah, exactly what we were just saying. The perception being too small. Your intuitive knowing is limited, and and this is showing you that intuitive creative self to expand out. Start opening those doors, practice opening up more. It's like your soul is calling you back. It's time to elevate. It's guys. What the heck? Okay, I just need them to slow down a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay, so the pain and this is associated with not, well, it may be part of the past because they've just linked in all of the DNA threads. So you're exactly correct, actually.
right.
My Susan brain is talking.
Okay, Susan, right.
But it's also about that intuitive expansion because this is your intuitive, creative, perception, and you're being shown to open the floodgates essentially and to stop making it difficult. It's not difficult. And this and go to rigidity, they're saying flow. Just know it to be so. Keep telling yourself you just know it to be so. It's in flow, it's ease, it's grace, it's your tour, it's just beautiful harmony that your soul organically sings. And in that it just is a remembrance. Like you come back to this you remember.
Yes, thank you. So I think a final question I have on myself, which relates to Susan as well, is the potential to do grid work, which is something that I've never considered before. But I believe that might be something along the similar lines of weaving with energy. Is this something that myself and Susan could develop together, or is it something we would do separate? Or I'd like some advice on that.
There you go, do get, yeah. So both. This is very, very powerful the way we work here. Um, the image in my head is like, have you ever seen Stargate? The when they go into the transporter and the rings come up and the rings come down.
Yeah, I
I
know.
got to get the so when you're in your bubble, when you're in your space to do grid work, got to get bring up the earth grids, at the getting na, call in the galactic grids, and then weave. Bring it into the grids, and see how that life force, the veins light up, and it flows through the totality of the grids. When you close down the session, you return the grids to where they need to be. But you can access these grids and work in this way. So what you do personally or for one individual and is reflected through the planetary and collective field.
Okay, so when I'm working for one, it's also the planet's getting the benefit of the work that I do for one.
Every person is a mission is a reflection. Their experience is a reflection of something that's happening within the planetary or collective field. So to recognize one person is to understand the collective.
Okay, thank you. You spoke about calling up the planetary grids and then calling in the galactic grids. Is there an intention specifically at the moment that I should be using when I'm doing this work and bringing them together? Is it for the galactic grids to heal the planetary grids, or is there an exchange of energy that needs to happen? What should I be thinking or trying to do at that point?
Agado, heart mind connection. There's a lot of chaos as the earth is rising up. And so this cleansing and this heart mind connection is getting disjointed. So for the planetary and the galactic grids to bring this, it's like re-establishing the physical with the higher mind through the heart mind connection that is at weaving through these grids. This is I get to the end and then I get to go to I get to too many words. Sorry, it's a
Okay.
little overwhelming. They're saying that when it goes back and it separates after you close down the session and you put everything back, that energy frequency is then anchored into and received through the heart of Gaia, through the heart of the galaxy, through that pure intention that you have been working with. And then as others are moving in with pure heart and intention, they are able to support in the way we've discussed previously.
Yes. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate all that advice, and it will help me along my path and the work that you've done for me today. Can I ask what Susan needs next for her development? She's she's a very talented energy worker and has lots of abilities. But what's next in her development path? What should she be focusing on?
This frustrates me. Um, they're saying, they're talking creation code. They're just showing me creation and what I was understanding about what they showed me about the soul and seeing it as a vector, but it's going in deeper to understand the I got to get the code within the code. I thought to get again. We told you this. Okay, they got to get it. Okay. And she has been seeing it a little. Yeah, I have been seeing it a little. It's there's a lot of correction at the moment within the blueprints. So other people like yourself coming in with this greater understanding can support the light in its true form rather than its distorted form. I think to go we've got Susan working on the blueprints to get the to clear the it's like the scars, the debris within the human field that keep sucking people back in. No, and they go back into these loops. So we're trying to remove the programming, the code within the code within the code at the center point of the seed so that it dissolves and we can create the light back into and through and substantiate the full spectrum of color is but in the high frequency of that color of the color. Sorry.
It's okay. You're doing great, Susan. It's amazing to listen to. So, if the Guardians of Light are doing this work, is Susan's role just understanding the work that's getting done and almost translating it, or has she got a role to add to the work that you are doing? Can she do something specific here on Earth?
Yeah, she's doing at this point what she needs. And she needs to remember to rest and honor the process of the change she's moving through. It's quite exhausting. I'm feeling exhausted. They're saying, don't worry about time. It's kind of irrelevant, but because we're working daily anyway. And then they're showing me through clients and so the concept of what they just showed us for you through the grids and one person representing the totality it's a similar thing. So they're pinpointing so that the primordial energies are getting healing and the ancient lost information can weave back through, similar to what we just did with your DNA. This is an ongoing process for Susan as we're opening different avenues constantly, different abilities and traits. It's like weaving a foundational that supports the awakening of the planet, essentially. Just being present, working from the heart, and doing what we do, and just and just they're saying create, because in the creation there's a silence, there's a stillness that allows them to help to assist in unseen ways that are going in and they get doing in and I get but again that the human mind can't perceive and understand, which I think we're seeing that perception, where we are versus where we need to be at 360-degree and more. And then the multidimensionality, they're showing all these different aspects that we need to weave together, but we don't have to be overthinking. We don't have to be overthinking it. We just have to allow for it to be so. And I think that's the important thing of what they're trying to lecture me with here.
Can I ask how you're feeling, Susan? Should we call it a day if you're feeling tired?
No, I'm actually fine. They're really lovely to be in. They just overwhelm me when they're talking too fast and I'm trying to understand what they're saying. But sometimes it's just like because they're talking so fast and then I'm like, "Ah." So I'm sorry if I'm stumbling, that's all.
No, you're doing fine. It was just when you said you were feeling tired, I just wanted to check.
Oh, I think it's just been a state of being more than anything, just sleeping a lot and ends of days have been quite, definitely feeling the um something actually that keeps coming up for me is I'm really struggling to actually sit down with clients and no, I mean I do it, but
Right.
to find the interest and the I would actually like to know why I'm having to force myself to sit down and do my sessions essentially, because I've always loved doing the energy, but it's just feels like
Feels
hard
like a chore
work.
at the moment.
What's that?
Does it feel like a chore at the moment?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All I want to do is go back and draw and play in Illustrator,
Right.
do fun
Explore your
stuff.
creative side. Yes, I can relate to that, I suppose, yeah, definitely.
Mm. They're saying, okay, they're just saying it's a vibrational awareness. At the yeah, they did to do it. So we sit naturally in this vibration. But when we're connecting into other people, it's it's a lot to carry.
Right. Okay.
And then no, they're saying it feels like walking through glue at the end.
Right. Other people's vibration will just it's weighing heavy on you. Right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So what they're emphasizing the need for the correct um, sacred geometry before stepping into the session. Okay, so I quite often will bring it in once I've stepped into the session, but I need to do it beforehand. And that's going to assist to maintain the focus and clarity and the bandwidth needed so the support can be received. Okay, I got you.
Yep. So that's when you're working with each client, you bring it in before they arrive, almost, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's good.
yeah. Mm.
So I'm just thinking at the moment about 2026 and what the rest of the year holds. It's been quite an eventful year so far worldwide with lots of things going on around the world, and it feels like things are speeding up. Is there other eventful happenings awaiting us in 2026?
Digging in here, get there are definitely potentials that they get the and Susan keeps glimpsing them. It depends on the choices you're gonna make. There's many things unrolling and unfolding. So where are you focusing on it? To get that, what words are you using? Yeah, and the frequency is then unfolding what comes next? Casting out an intention of how to get that feel to exist. To really manifest into the highest potential and just not feel like life is running away. No, it can feel well, that's interesting. They're showing me have you ever seen like those shapes and they sort of fold in and they sort of don't make any sense? They're like, I don't know how to describe it. It kind of looks like those stairs that are like that picture
Eh,
of those stairs that are,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
yeah, and they're showing me that there are so many different realities interfolding at the moment. So really focusing on what is the highest and truest outcome for, and are you looking and focusing on self or on the greater bandwidth of energy that is the potential? And through that, They keep showing me groups as well that somehow they're involved in bringing this, and this conduit holds a greater potential for what we bring into groups. Yeah, this bandwidth being formed is a easy conduit to work with others and open to greater potentials. This vibration is a very healing and enlightening vibration. So it will lift people even even if they don't communicate with it directly. Yeah, it's like they show me it's like bathing in light. They're actually showing me someone in a bath with just light.
Bathing in light. Very good. I'd like to ask you a question about how I've been perceiving what's going on in the world at the moment, like what's going on in the Middle East. And I don't watch mainstream news, but I do sort of get news through social media, and then I then get interested in what's going on. But I realise by me giving it attention, it's maybe becoming my reality. But I also feel that because it's happening, I feel as if I should be doing some work for it, for some weaving for it, or some grid work in that area to try and raise vibrations. So it's almost like, do I ignore it and just imagine it's not happening and it doesn't become my reality, or do I try and do work to actually somehow help the situation in a small way? But by doing that, maybe I'm making the darker side of what's going on in the world my reality. I'm just wondering how I balance that sort of.
And then yeah, yeah, yeah. What you need to understand is that again, yeah, if you're focusing on yeah, what we told you earlier, yeah, about the grids.
Yeah.
And yeah, everything you heal in a singular person, or and this is then healed within the heart of these grids. So that vibration organically is being received by the collective planet. Oh, it's better to not focus and follow because you're splitting the timeline and you're seeing that it's always the chaotic potential of no, but that may just happen, I get to and the only outcome to look for is that of unconditional love. And when you're being your truth and you're living in the they are weaving through these grids like we've shown you and opening up to limitless supported by the vibration of there's so many. Okay. There's more than just a like out here. There's so many. But basically, when you're weaving and you've got these grids and you start calling in just through unconditional love, they're showing that this is much greater influence than just trying to focus on one section and bring that in through that. And then okay. They're showing me the individuals that are guided to us are essentially holding key traits or experiences that are creating a lot of the disjointedness. So by healing one, we can heal the many. And lift the vibration of the planet, of the galactic space that we are existing in.
Okay, thank you. So just the final point. I think I know what your answer will be, but there's almost like when I realise a situation's happening and it catches my interest, I almost keep following it just to see hope that it's coming to an end or coming to a better solution than what was happening. Would you advise me just to understand it's happening and then ignore it and just do the work to heal through the grids as you've advised me?
Oh, you could stop now, feel into, oh, I see that. What is the emotion? What is the heart wall? What is blocking that heart-mind connection? See what comes in. And then weave healing into the grids. And then let it go.
Okay.
It's just trusting what you're doing.
Okay.
That it's enough.
Thank you for that. The other thing that's in my mind at the moment is I'm very much interested on sort of current affairs and what's happening with the planet going forward this year and next year. And I have a real interest in sort of almost taking the temperature of how the planet is evolving by the understanding of the other people, of people who aren't aware of such things. So disclosure of perhaps aliens, UFOs, extraterrestrials would be one of the things. Is that likely to happen over the next couple of years? Is there a vibration on the Earth at the moment that could lead us down that path of disclosure?
Yeah, it's a possibility. To get together, certainly to do and integrating in different ways. To get yeah, some is channels that some are coming in. Veiled in human form, and then some there's a lot more contact happening, and many aren't remembering just yet. But as as the soul starts to remember in the higher vibration of its own sovereignty, the soul will also start remembering the contact and it'll stop being a many are fearing it still and it will become a co-creation coming home and the partnership that can be worked to support it looks like they're showing me a lot of people still walking around with blindfolds on. A lot of
Yeah.
people just, still in that it's like living on the same planet is what they're showing me, but yeah, it's almost like you don't see each other almost. It's like everything's co-inhabited, but and then the different frequencies seem to hold you separate from the toxicity and that energy that is there because you are existing in limitless and understanding and then the power of the mind, the power of the energy of your you're completely co-creating a different reality for yourself. It's like they're held in the jungle gym of old programs and you're walking in the open fields.
Okay.
That looks like what they're showing me over there looks really, it's almost like the darkest of winter days. It hasn't stopped raining and everything's gone moldy and
Yeah.
it's and like here we are in these open fields and we just have to choose to walk into the sunshine in these beautiful fields and and with our animals. Hey, Wolfie.
So we just need to focus on the positive and stay on that path and not be drawn, and don't over focus on the negative side, and just let the negative side deal with their own disclosure or their own awakening.
Yeah.
Would that be?
Getting out and yeah, yeah, that's correct. And yeah, that yeah, the more you practice this getting yeah, the easier it becomes at and then that to get that yeah, and the higher your vibration rises at the beginning and oh, they show me the numbness in your head that get that still that pull. It's like there's like mold or something getting in and then that to get that yeah, that's still like spores that are waiting to manifest one way or another. And then yeah, that they get that yeah, that's interesting.
Mm.
To get that yeah, just consciously choose to go and you know the truest outcome. To get that yeah, and then your soul will choose to let them go and that to get it yeah. It's almost like and yeah to if you imagine they're showing it to me like two sides of the soul, what to do, what again. Yeah, oh, yeah. So the choices, but it's almost like there's something within the deepest and yeah, super conscious, the sub super conscious, that is still, I don't know, maybe holding something that's wounded, which is why, which obviously consciously you're making a choice for what you want. So that deeper, 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 where is that? Sorry, is it okay for me to be looking?
Of course, please do.
They show me the template of the cells, like you would call the etheric blueprint that the DNA is based on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what the body can heal to. And the electromagnetic field that's moving and this current of energy. Oh, yeah, so it's like they're showing it to me like these complex mathematical equations written across the template and yeah, and that they keep pointing out this. It's almost like this is all correct except for this here. Something, it's almost like there's something there like what do you call it if you want you know like a kill switch or something
All right.
like just in case.
Right.
That's kind of what that code is, that it could be switched on at any given time if you
Right.
wanted it to be switched on, which obviously you've been going the other way and not wanted it switched on, but that's essentially what they're showing me that I can see at the moment. And then you have to get the guy. They show me pulling a pencil off and rubbing it out. Just rewriting it. Oh, to get the yeah.
So is that piece of code being there to sort of block or slow me down, or is it there as a benefit?
Oh, yeah. Not a benefit to get the yeah. It feels more like doubt and insecurity, and then yeah, to get again, and something that's been written in, but to get in and to get oh, then yeah, but yeah, possibly not by you or your evolution. I'm going, no, 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 yeah, no, yeah, no, 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 yeah. So going back to all those different genetic DNA threads that we were looking at, Or to get the getting now where there's been this wounded energy that's come through and it's oh yeah, perhaps it's just give me a sense of overwhelm or where something's happened and it's almost like an inner vow of never doing that again. Never going back there and not opening up to that. Why should you when this is just the way you get treated? That's very much the energy that is feeling here. Yeah. So they're just working to update it and they're just working to update that and reset it back through like the cellular template so that your cells know to heal to the updated frequency and updated code. Yeah. It's there's something about the throat chakra. They're showing me the heart-mind connection and it's what's been numbing. Yeah. They say you don't need to understand, just listen, and that's enough to help activate and align.
Okay, thank you.
And just take some deep breaths, please. Whoa, it's getting. Just the image in my mind is that it's creating a restructure of the geometric form of your energy field. And it's like just this, it's almost so incremental, it's hardly noticeable, except for the fact that I'm watching for what's going on here. But it's like just an incremental shift in the color as well. So that vibration moving, but it feels like it's almost like the body needs to wring out the memory of the old.
Okay.
So just make sure you're drinking loads of water and when you're showering, just the water is like white light, it's cleansing and cleansing and cleansing, and you're imagining anything that like when you wring out a sponge and they're showing me how all the thick gluggy stuff sits on the outside of the sponge after you've wrung it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're showing me. So you need to keep imagining it to get to that, and then it's all washing away.
Okay.
Whew.
That was amazing.
Yeah, take it down. That was fun. Okay.
It was fun. I'll be very grateful for receiving and hearing this information about myself. So thank you very much.
All right. I'm just going to come back to the room now, if that's okay.
Of course. Of course.
Whew.
How are you feeling, Susan?
Really good.
All right.
The vibration is amazing.
Right. Well, that's good. I
It is
was
good. It's very
slightly
promising and
concerned
it's
that
not
you were
exhausting to
going to
channel
be
them.
drained. Yeah.
It's just when they start talking sometimes, and it's like I can feel that they're talking through me, but I can't stop it. And it's just like rolling, rolling, rolling like a snowball going down the hill.
Yeah. Too many words.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that was amazing to listen to. My final question I was going to ask them, but we'll keep that for next week, was actually just to kind of almost get guidance on what we can explore. Because I know, like, can I ask anything, or should be focusing on certain things? But we can maybe start with that next week and see where we go.
Yeah, they're just telling me just be creative,
Right. Okay.
just think left of center, be creative, and keep doing this that we've done today, where we are asking for the healing, asking for what doesn't feel right, sit right, that sense of, and I've said it to you within my own sessions when you've taken me into regression, that to be able to access some of my abilities feels like it should be as easy as breathing. And why am I not accessing them?
Yeah.
So asking these sort of questions, because the faster we come online is the term they're using, then the faster we can better support what we've been brought together for.
Yes.
Are you ready for the ride? Apparently.
Well, definitely. Yeah, that was an amazing start. I really didn't think it'd be so much about me, but I suppose it's eased me in to kind of get those questions asked, and I can have a think about what direction we can go next week.
But I think it's very valid what was said also, that it's not just about you, because what's relevant for you is in some form relevant for me and vice versa. So
Yeah.
when you're recognizing that in yourself and they're reflecting these things that we're experiencing back out through the grids, and it's becoming a heartbeat within these grids of a healed frequency, then that's incredible.
Hmm.
That's phenomenal.
It is.
That kind of blows my mind when they're showing me the way that works, rather than focusing on something that is chaotic and trying to send healing to that, but rather focusing on the light and bringing that in, because that's organically dissolving the chaos, the paralyzing energy that's been stopping humanity from rising up.
Hmm. I think that's loud and clear. Is that message has been received? That's what we need to be doing now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Particularly with the chaos that's going on at the moment. So,
And there certainly seems to be a lot of that. And even people being stuck with illness and crazy experiences. And yeah, like if you're not willingly going in, it's almost like they're pulling certain people in, kicking and screaming.
oh dear.
But yeah, good work.
Yeah, oh, thank you. The final question for you, actually, it's about grid work, which I really didn't know anything about. So, would is there any part of grid work where you're actually just walking about and like finding a ley line and actually doing joining earth energies at that level, or has it always been about doing it up above and doing it in bigger areas?
Well, that's a really good question. And for me, it's never been about the ley lines particularly, but that
Right.
doesn't mean it's not for you if that's
Right.
what you're drawn to.
Okay.
For me, I do touch the ground a lot, and but I also, when I do touch the ground, I do see that image that they show me of those grids, and I see that come up as a portal around me, and it's almost like then I see it as a conduit that the galactic ships work through to
Right.
be activating, and I like almost without fail, my hands will go, and it's almost like I'm pinned to the ground through my fingers and hands, and they're like cement that I literally couldn't move if I tried. And then all of a sudden it'll shift and I'm just like, whoo, okay then, that's gone.
Right.
So it's a really fascinating process. But if I'm just drawn to touch the ground somewhere or feel like something is dense in a certain area, I don't worry about things like ley lines, because I believe that once we are connecting into these grids that they're showing us, that is dispersing it into the heart, into the veins, into the blood supply of Gaia, into the waters. It's taking it into the elements where it's needed anyway. But
Okay.
that's if you're drawn to move through the ley lines, then I can also see great potential what that would be doing. And Perhaps that's a more authentic signature aspect of your own abilities that you understand.
I've always been interested in them without ever exploring them properly. So I wanted to know the actual specifics of grid work and whether it was at Earth level or whether you were always doing it up in the astral and sort of. So it seems like you're doing it out there rather than finding grids on Earth to work on. So that's I'll explore it more and learn more about it as we go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can definitely
Yes,
keep asking questions though as you're uncovering what you need to see and understand, and then you can keep expanding the questions and
yes.
see what comes forth.
It's it's fascinating. I just came into this today really unprepared, just not really knowing what we were going to do. And actually, now that I consider it, like every week we've got a chance to go and ask the big questions, which
Yeah,
is so exciting.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And it was interesting the fact that I was present and I could feel when I was becoming overwhelmed by them talking through me. And I could put a stop on it, obviously, because I was like, stop, this is
uh
too much. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Did you feel like my conscious mind was getting in the way at all?
No, I didn't. Apart from when you asked it to slow down the too many words, I didn't think it was in the way at all. No, it
Okay.
was just you had to come back to just control the situation, which was great because it meant you knew what you were doing. You weren't getting overwhelmed or getting drained by it all.
And that may be something that develops as we build a relationship, as they can see what I can deal with and I can see what they can deal with and
Yes.
blah 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 blah. And that may just be part of the learning curve. Yeah.
So since that until today, I mean, have they come through a lot for you? Yeah, I think you mentioned one client they come through for recently, didn't you?
Well, yeah, she asked if I would bring them through, and I did, but generally, sometimes more than other times. Sometimes quite often when I'm drawing, actually, and especially if I'm just writing code, like these sort of codes and stuff, like if I'm just writing code,
Oh,
then they'll be talking. So I think it's very much that creation code of what we're understanding and what we're moving into and weaving that information and that frequency in a verbal way as well. um or like I said, I'll often hear them talking in my head, like I could verbalize it, but they're like going around, but it's often when I'm feeling like I've just been exhausted from client work as well, and I'm just like sometimes the client work's really exhausting me at the moment. So hopefully what they said about setting up their geometries, that's fantastic. Um, and yeah, they come in and they seem to just refresh and replenish, and
aye, give you a
yeah,
lift.
their vibration is beautiful. Like as I say, I feel great at the moment considering I've had a full day of work. Normally I'd be getting to this time of day and I'd be like,
Time for a nap.
we have to do this every day.
Aye.
Oh, the code within the code within the code. I keep seeing this image as well. And I've drawn it a few times, but I was just going to show you because I just penciled it in. Can you see the
The
pencil?
circuits, yeah,
But it's like this inner circle and this inner circle. It's like there's a line in between. So there's almost like a void in between
right,
the
okay,
code within the code within the code. And I've drawn it out a couple of times and written into it and stuff like that. But yeah, I just drew that out clearer today so I could show you, because the rest of them that I've been drawing are just scribbles. But I do think I'm seeing what was shown more distinctly to be able to expand into. So yeah, that's a really fascinating part of the journey as well.
right.
Obviously, it's time to knuckle down and get serious, just in case we hadn't done that already.
I know. That's certainly what Angela was saying, wasn't it? We need to get our act together this year. So
Yeah.
the last couple of years was a practice. I think it's
Yeah, yeah, we need to get serious, says the
uh,
woman that's just heading off to America to play.
I know. Exactly.
All right, this has been fantastic. Thank you so
Yes. Well,
much.
thank you, Susan. Uh,
Um,
it was great. And I'll come more prepared next week with more questions to ask. But
Yeah, come prepared or don't. I think one way or another will be, we've
It'll
obviously
flow.
built up over an hour of
I know.
time with, it feels like 10 minutes to be honest.
Aye.
So, yeah, cool.
Right.
Just, I want to just say, I think when you're moving through the week to be considering when, um, how do I say it? Do you know, it's almost like, it's just almost like a fleeting thought that would pass through that you would then very easily ignore. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I feel like they're the sort of things we need to be taking notice of because they're the things that are trying to be realized.
Okay.
And just even if you just jot down a word or a short sentence or something like that, just so it doesn't fall out of your head again. And
Right.
then we can, yeah, and I'll do the same with thoughts or whatever else.
That's actually, I haven't really noticed any messages like that recently. Towards the end of last year, I was getting things through and I'm thinking, oh, that's my guides. I better act on that and get things done. But I haven't really noticed it this year. So I'll over the next week I'll do that as those messages pass through. I have
Yeah.
been doing a lot more recently. I need to start writing them down. Uh,
And interesting about your eye, like when we first went in, my eye was just stinging like crazy. I'm like, what is going on with my eye? So,
and it's your left eye, is that right?
yeah.
So it's been my left eye since we come
Yeah, so
back.
thanks for that.
Sorry about that. I've actually not had any pain. It's not been weeping, and it's not been
Yeah,
anything.
you have heard that I connect at a soul level, right?
Yes, aye.
The energy behind the energy.
Aye.
Awesome. All right, cool. I'll talk to you later. Thank
Yes.
you very much.
Thank you very much, Susan. That was wonderful.
It was
Right.
good. Thank you. Bye.
Right. See you later. Bye.